Shalom, shalom, shalom. Want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahweh Shai being the name of his beloved Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus. All right, this is the brother Yair Radah, the WFI Indiana Camp, coming at y'all with a quick cold cut through the spirit on being spiritual. And are you spiritual? All right, because a lot of people think being spiritual is you writing checks to the moon, right? If you know what that is, or you sitting crisscross applesauce and humming for 3 hours, right? A lot of people think that's spiritual. A lot of people think being spiritual is because you believe in the universe, and you say, yeah, well, the universe, I did this with the universe, and the universe is rewarding me, or you almost about to break your back trying to get on top of the roof to put your crystals on top of there so they can charge in the moonlight at night, right? These different things is not being spiritual. That's being wicked. That's being a sorcerer. You understand? That's indulging in witchcraft, man. Not being spiritual unto the Most High God. All right, and that's what we have to be in these last days, is spiritual unto the Most High God, man. Right? Let's kick it off with the book of Matthew, chapter 4. All right, verse 4. Right? And it reads, "But he answered and said, It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God." So we gotta live, you understand? It's like we gotta live off of the words of the Lord. All right? That's what's gonna keep us. That's what's gonna, you understand, guide us in the last days. The words of the Lord, man. Not because you doing this or do whatever the case may be, man. Dealing with any and all type of manner of wickedness, man. On the left hand side of so-called spirituality, you trying to open up your damn chakras. All right, you trying to do stuff with your kundalini, man. That's not being spiritual. Trying to activate it. It's going off. It's madness. You understand? It's not trying to you looking at people, you trying to focus in, and you using your hand to try to see if you can begin to see people's auras, and you telling people, oh yeah, he got a blue aura around him. Yeah, that means he's this. Or it's a red aura, that means his intentions is really bad. And that's not, we not dealing with that. All right, we dealing with the words of the Lord, and that's what we gonna live by. We not living by the words of Buddha, man. We not living by the words, you understand, of these different horoscopes. And you're an Aquarius, or you're a Leo. Yeah, so this is how you know, right? We living by the words of the Lord, man. And we gonna continue to do that until the Lord come back, man. Right? Until our King come. All right? But until then, man, hey, we gonna live, you understand, by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High God, man. All right, so let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 12. All right, verse 2. All right, it's the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse 2. And it reads, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God," man. So you gotta change your mind frame when you come into this truth. And if you've been in this truth and you haven't yet, hey, that's something that you need to do, man. Constantly, daily. This is not a one-time thing. This is daily. Daily, you have to change. You have to renew. You understand? You have to cleanse your mind frame. The way you think, the thoughts that try to come upon you, the thoughts that Satan tries to plague you with. And you have to renew that thing day by day. You understand? And not think with a carnal mindset, not think with the mindset of the world. and how the people in the world think. No, you have to think based off of one, these precepts and these scriptures, and deal in wisdom, right? And deal in the wisdom of the Most High God. All right, but I want to read that in the NLT, right? Romans 12:2 in the NLT, right? It says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. You see that? It says don't copy, man. Meaning don't take those things on. Now you doing things of the world. You know different than the people of the world. Only difference is you're an Israelite and you wear your fringes every now and then. Now you can't be like that, right? It says don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then will you learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. That's a mean verse right there. Right? So you gotta let the Most High God change the way you think. Let him transform you. Right? I said, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's how you change. Obviously, it's a multitude of different things, but if you don't change the way that you think, what did you really change? Other than you growing your beard out and wearing your fringes every now and then. Or wearing your fringes every day. And you growing a big, mighty beard out. But guess what? You still think with the thought process of a niggard. You still move, you understand, the way you moved when you was in the world. You still act the same way. Nothing changed. All right? So you have to transform, you understand? Let the Most High God transform you, right? By how changing of the mind, the changing the way you think, how you look at things, how you look at scenarios. You understand? You're not easily moved to wrath like how you maybe was when you was in the world. Or when things go wrong, you're not quick to you don't make haste during those times. But instead you put your trust in the Most High God instead of trying to take matters into your own hands. Or once before when you was in the world, you might have looked to everybody else and asked everybody else for help, this and that and that and this. But now, guess what? Hey, you fall upon your knees and pray to the Most High God, and then let him guide you in the way that you should go, pertaining to whatever the situation may be. All right, I'm gonna read that. In the NLT one more time. Right, Romans 12:2. It says, "Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then will you learn to know God's will for you, which is good, pleasing, and perfect." You see that? Let's go to the book of Romans chapter 8. All right, Romans chapter 8 and verse 5. Right, and it reads, For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. You see that? So the people that move with their flesh, you understand, the people that think with their flesh, that think with a carnal mind frame, guess what? Hey, they do things pertaining to the flesh. They give into those fleshly lusts. They give into the ways of a carnal mind. But somebody that's spiritual, somebody that moves with a spiritual mind frame, somebody that walks in the spirit, guess what? Their actions is gonna show that they're spiritual. Right? Why? Because guess what? Hey, they're gonna move one in the fruits of the spirit, but also they're gonna move in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's how they're gonna deal in their everyday life to the best of their ability. All right, they're not gonna be carnal mind. A carnal man in certain situations, hey, he'll crash out, man. A carnal man in certain situations, right, he'll let the lust of his flesh overthrow his judgment. Right, a carnal man in certain situations, man, hey, he'll overthrow other people's judgment through counsel, wicked counsel, or through whatever the case is. Right, but a man that's spiritual, a woman that's spiritual, moving in the spirit, guess what? Hey, they're gonna let the spirit of the Lord, you understand, guide them in judgment and judge righteously. A man or a woman that's moving in the spirit of the Lord, you understand? Hey, they won't let they won't let a lot of things get them out the spirit, man. Lord willing, nothing. right? But we still subject to these bodies. So at the end of the day, as much as possible, that's why it's important to stay in the spirit and walk in the spirit. Think with a spiritual mind frame. All right. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. And that's what we seek. That's what we seeking. We seeking life and peace, man. Everlasting life and peace. And how do you obtain that? How you move in that type of spirit? You understand? By keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, having faith in the Most High God. You understand, son? Understanding the times that we living in and moving accordingly, and renewing your mind day by day, according to the spirit, and not according to the flesh, not according to the lust of the world. Understanding that a friendship with the world is you going against the Most High, basically. A friendship with the world, you understand, you making yourself an enemy. You choosing your side when you do that, and you not choosing the right side. All right. One more time, right? It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be. You see that? So your carnal, these fleshly bodies that we in, they was made to go off. They weren't made, you understand, to be bound by the law of the Lord, to be subject unto it. You understand, to be able to follow it 100%. No, these is prison bodies, man. The flesh, it can't be. That's why flesh won't be able to enter into the kingdom. Flesh can't enter into the kingdom. Why? Because it's a flesh. It's wicked. It's abominable. It's made to go off. You understand? But that's why we got to live in the spirit by doing what? The things of the spirit. Moving in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the commandments. Moving in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the fruits of the spirit, right? Let's get the fruits of the spirit real quick. Classic. Right? Classic. It's the book of Galatians, right? Chapter 5. It's the book of Galatians, chapter 5. So like it. Right? In verse 22, it says, but the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. You see that? So having those traits is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to possess and have those type of traits, along with what? Keeping the commandments of the Lord and having faith on Yahweh Yahushua. Right? Let's go back to Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. Right? It says, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. You see that? So if you moving in the flesh, you moving with a carnal mind, right? You giving in into the lust of the flesh. You can't please the Most High like that, right? But how do you please the Most High God? By moving in the spirit, by doing the things of the spirit, moving in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the fruits of the spirit, the law, faith. Those are things that are of the spirit. All right. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 6. Actually, let's go to John. Chapter 4. And verse 23. Right? It says, this is the book of John, chapter 4, and verse 23. It says, but the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. You see that? So it said, hey, the time is coming and is now. Right now, this is the time to worship and follow the Lord in sincerity and in truth and in spirit and in truth in these last days. You understand? Which is what? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, having faith on the Lord, you understand? And serving them in sincerity. All right? And understanding that, hey, we got to go. We got a mission. in this mission, right? You can't exit it. You gotta stay the course. You gotta finish the mission. You can lead the mission. You understand? But hey, you're not gonna receive the benefits. You're not gonna receive the reward after the fact. Hey, you gotta stay there. You gotta endure. You gotta continue on that mission until the Lord, you understand, come back, man. Until our King come back and establishes, you understand, his throne upon the earth. Right? I'm gonna read that one more time. Right? This is the book of John, chapter 4, verse 23. It says, "But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." You see that? So in these last days, we gotta make sure that we doing those different things, right? Hold on, let me get this quick precept real quick. Get this quick precept. All right. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 140, or so like it's Psalms chapter 119 and verse 142. It says, "Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth." So in order to please the Lord, you have to keep the law to the best of your ability in these last days. You got to keep the law, and you got to obviously have faith. Faith without works is dead, though. Right? They both walk hand in hand at the end of the day. Right? It's the book of Psalms chapter 119 and 144. It says, "So shall I keep thy law continually forever and ever." Right? So we got to still uphold those different things and realize that in order to please the Lord, you got to walk. You have to walk, you understand, in righteousness. You have to walk in truth. And if you're walking in truth, that means you what? You walking in the commandments of the Lord. You walking in the spirit. Everybody want to be spiritual, not understanding that you don't have to sit crisscross applesauce and hum for 3 hours. Are you trying to open up your pineal gland? Are you trying to activate your kundalini? Or you trying to wearing crystals? And it's simple. Let's go back to the book of Romans. All right. Let's go back to the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 14. It says, "For we know that the law is spiritual." A lot of people say, "Oh, the law, this, the law." Hey, the law is spiritual at the end of the day. The law is very spiritual. And even Paul told you that, man. When you go through the law, it's a lot of things that gets revealed unto you that's spiritual, man, that you see, Salakia. That you see when you read these different things in the spirit. Linking the precepts and so on and so forth. But even Paul told you, hey, the law is spiritual. Right? Finish it out, right? It says, "For we know," he said, "for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold unto sin." So ultimately, keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Keeping the faith and enduring unto the end, hey, that's you being spiritual, man. That's and staying away, you understand, from the ways of the world, and being not conformed unto the world, and not moving with a carnal mindset, and not moving in your flesh. That's true spirituality at the end of the day. All right, that right there. Not, let me get this in the apocrypha. Right, in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6. Right, it's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, and verse. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, and verse. I'm gonna start at 17. It says, "For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love." Right? This is going into wisdom. Right? And wisdom is a beautiful trait to have in righteousness. right? When it's the wisdom of the Lord, when it's the wisdom of the scriptures. All right. So it's telling you that, hey, the desire, right? If I'm gonna read it again, it says, "For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love." Right? Because like we say, if you have discipline towards something, you love that thing. All right. But and it says, "And love is the keeping of her laws, and the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption." You see that? So right there, it just told you that what? Hey, you have to have discipline. Not only do you have to have discipline, but what? It said, "And love is the keeping of her laws." So discipline, love, right? If you love the Most High God, guess what? You got to keep His commandments. That's how you show you love your brother. Guess what? Keep the commandments. You love your sister. Guess what? Keep the commandments. What? Toward them. And most importantly, toward the Most High God. And the point right here, it says, once again, it said, "And the giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption." It said that's the assurance of incorruption, man. And what do people say, talk about spirituality? Oh, I just want to be pure. They say being spiritual is pure this, pure that, and being one with the Lord, and being one with, or they don't even say the Lord, but being one with the Creator, or being one with the universe and all this other stuff. Hey, guess what? Hey, the scriptures just told you that what? Hey, keep the love is the keeping of her laws. And when you keep the laws, guess what? That's the assurance of incorruption. Meaning what? Purity. What else? Reading on, it says, and so like it, verse 19, "And incorruption maketh us near unto God." You see that? So when you're incorruptible, when you keeping these laws, such as commandments, and you're making yourself, what did it say? You're making yourself, or you giving yourself the assurance of incorruption because you're keeping the commandments, right? Having the faith, so on and so forth. It said, "Hey, and the incorruption maketh us near unto God." Meaning what? You doing those different things is making you pure. You doing those different things, right, is what? Hey, that's making you closer into the Most High God, man. And that's what, Salaki. And that's what people talk about when they talk about pure. Oh, I want to be pure, or I'm spiritual. I'm one with this. I'm one with the eight. Being one with the most, be one with the Most High God. Salaki. That's what we need to do in these last days, man. And stop trying to seek out all these other different stuff. You got people praying to damn trees, man, and flowers, man, and worshiping the sun and the moon and the stars, but not the one that created all those different things. So in these last days, Israel, make sure you, spiritual. How? By removing off that carnal mindset, right, that we used to have in the world. We removing from that. Remove that carnal mindset. Don't move in the flesh, but instead put on the spirit, and move in the spirit. Move with a spiritual mind. Don't move in the lust of your flesh, but move in the spirit. Don't let your flesh, you understand, continue to up the score on your spirit. All right. So Lord willing, brothers and sisters, was edified with this video. Lord willing, brothers and sisters, continue to be, or if not, grow to be spiritual in these last days. The true spirituality of the Most High God, man, which is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, keeping the faith, and removing yourself from the ways of the world and renewing your mind. All right, so with that, I want to give a call, Lawyer, how about Shem Yahushua, Kwam Yasha Allah, Shalom, family.